here to tell you about a few of our sponsors. Fantasy Grounds is our virtual tabletop of choice, providing us access to roles, tokens, maps, and more. You can try it today for free at fantasygrounds.com. While you're there, why not check out Fantasy Grounds Unity? World Anvil is a remarkable resource, whether you're a writer, GM, or player, organizing your campaign notes or building an entire world. Get forging today for free at worldanvil.com. And before we get into today's game, we'd like to shout out our friends at Andrews McMeel Publishing, who published the wonderful game Zweihander. If you haven't checked that out, you can catch it here on Wednesdays. We'd also like to mention Modifius, who manage and produce a wide range of RPGs. Whether you feel like being Dishonored, exploring a tale from the loop, or boldly going with Star Trek adventures, why not check out modifius.com. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Encounter Roleplay. Welcome back to the Crownlands. No, the Wall. I don't know why I said the Crownlands. That's our other Game of Thrones show. I'm really on the ball. What I was thinking actually was that we have been busy updating World Anvil, which you can find under the command Crownlands WA. Thanks, Tom. I'm a pro. Here we go. Crownlands WA. We have just updated a couple of letters which will be coming up today. You can find them under the letters category. We have our two timelines on there. The timeline for Giant's Chair and for our clan between the river and sky. And a whole host of additional information will be appearing shortly as we have profiles for all of the characters in this game, and the Crownlands game is coming up soon as we will be returning to that for Season 2. But before all of that, let's focus on the season that we're playing right now. And let's focus on the wonderful cast who are with us today. Kate, how are you doing, friend?
I am good. I am good. I've been doing well. I'm continuing my streaming, educating myself at this time, which has been really enlightening. Thought I was quite educated in all the way of the world, but no. We all could learn something right now. So yeah, today on my stream I was painting a mini of my ex D&D character. So I'm memorializing him in that way. Yeah, it was fun. Anyways, I'm Actors at Work, if anyone didn't know, or Kate Madison. Find me on various platforms under that, or here on Twitch as Kate Madison. Hi, I'm Urel, by the way.
Awesome.
Sorry,
and thank you so much for that 100-bit.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for that 100-bit donation as well. Thank you so much.
Getting that hype train going.
Let's drop on. We are all about the choo-choo hype train. Choo-choo! All right, speaking of hype, Dev, welcome back, friend. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Very happy to be back. Missed everybody last week. And yeah, happy to be returning back to the wall. I'm Dev Preston. You can find me on Twitter at DevPresto. Yeah, and excited to get back into it.
Same. I am very excited. I'm very excited to see the arc that Recruit Laris is on reaching its height, its peak, because we all know a peak is followed by a trough. And when you are in a mountainous valley of ice, it's time, right, Pope? It's a good time.
Oh, there is so much pain ahead of us. Hey, everybody, Pope here. Pope World Bell on Twitter, Pope World Bell on Twitch. I lurk in all your streams, and I'm so happy to be back in some place far colder than where I actually am. No, it is so good to be here. So good to see a Chaos Course. So good to be with this incredible cast that is going to be twisting knives, tearing hearts, losing minds. This is what we're here for. So we'll see what the now beleaguered commander has in store for him, as well as, I think, a couple of secrets and a bloody hunt. We'll see where this all goes.
Speaking of secrets, I'm going to say this now before I forget. If we hit our various retweet goals today, you will be unlocking things. For 20 retweets, you are going to be unlocking a secret for one of these fine players. At 30 retweets, the weather here at the wall and north is going to get worse, which only means good things in a spring. And finally, at 40 retweets, there will be a big unlock in the form of, what did I put? What did I describe it as? Hang on, let me scroll. Where did I put it?
Emerges from the northern
That's
forest
right.
creature.
That's right. A creature emerges from the north. I had to check my wording on it, because I couldn't remember how much I'd given away. Thank you, Kate. And in addition to that, every 5 subs we will be unlocking an event. I can see subs coming in, resubs happening. Thank you so much, Hotflake Tom, for those 47 months here with Encounter Roleplay. I will be updating all of those numbers as we go, and I promise the events will be coming just as winter comes for the Stark, so I come for you, Matthew, Killer GM.
Yeah, that happens from time to time. Hi, everybody. Matt here, playing Sir Jardenberg, who we learned last time has been up to some maybe not so nice things on the wall. But he tries to save people. Can't be all bad, can he? Hopefully. Maybe. We'll see. Yeah, oh my gosh, I am so happy to be back. I missed this. I missed everybody. And we're going to do such wonderful, terrible things together.
We are. And I couldn't think of a better person to conspire with than Alyssa, the last of our cast that we're going to say hello today. Welcome back.
Hi! It's good to be back and have my internet and my AC working. Hi everybody, I'm Alyssa at Origami Shuriken on Twitter, and I play Runa, the wildling healer.
Awesome. All right, so without any further ado, a reminder to keep hanging out with us tonight because it is a double show night. We have Dr. RPG coming up afterwards where we'll be taking donations for Black Girls Code. And just to get your snacks, get comfortable, take a deep breath because it's time for us to return to Westeros. See you in a moment.
Night gathers, and now my watch begins. It shall not end until my relief. I have forsaken my wife, lost my lands, and been disowned by my children. For the sake of the crown, I will not relinquish my glory. I shall live and die by my king's command. I seek the sword in the darkness. I am the crow whose nest glints in the moonlight. I am the shield that guards the realms of men. I pledge my life in honor to the Night's Watch, but this night, and until my duty is done. Charlie, you're muted.
There we go. And there are many duties to be done in the harsh reality of a life atop a frozen wall and in the world beyond. Runa, the crows had been close. A baby had been born too soon. There are traditions. There are things that must be done. Once it was tradition that a walrus heart was a meal for a new leader. Now, it is a gift that must be given when a new life joins the clan, to remember old blood, to embrace new. You trekked towards that shore, frozen and desolate, following the path of the river until eventually you had to cross it. It was rushing, a frozen, torrid rushing, and it raced out, crashing to that shoreline. But together, you found a way. You forged a way. And then up the craggy, rocky beach, ignoring the steel grey surf as it tossed and turned restlessly in the sea beyond. And your hunt began.
I'm going to find some sort of outcropping I can perch on to get a good view of the beach and see what sort of activity there may be in the area.
The beach is strangely empty. Considering the state of the sea, you'd expect the seagulls to have returned, to have taken harbour here. Other birds, other creatures tossed upon the shore. But there is little to show for life beyond some tendrils of green seaweed that drag out like spindles of some creature's hair.
Does it look like there's been anything that passed through that may have chased away the wildlife?
Make a survival track for me, or survival hunt.
Okay.
I'm just going to catch up very quickly with some donations. Pope Cheer to give you an extra dice for your keep dice. I will add that in a second to the overlay. And it looks like there's a boon for Matt, for Sajardin, and a bane for everyone else. Goody! We like these kinds of things. Thank you so much for those. My chat has lost control under the power of the Chaos Chorus. Thank you so much, Super Wasp King, for that donation. Thank you so much for all of these gift subs from Danin. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will get everything up to date in a moment.
So if I type in the command correctly, 20.
Awesome. On a 20, you pace up the beach, you look for the signs, and you can see that are in fact disturbances amongst the stones, the debris of rocks. They're not quite pebbles, they're not quite smooth enough to be described as such. And you follow and you see, exposed by the tide, a chunk of ice must have fallen from the cliff's face, and a cave has been exposed. You suspect that creatures have found their way in here to harbor safe from storm. The creatures in particular that you look for, the walruses and seal.
I will gesture to the rest of the hunting party, trying to stay quiet so I don't alert our prey.
And you have well-trained hunters with you. And they push up and around, taking easy steps amongst the rocks until you reach that craggy opening. The rock seems almost to have teeth that bear down from its ceiling. How long has it been since this face was exposed to the world? and the foam laps in, swirling around, strange eddies forming. And inside, the lumbering forms of sleeping beasts. And that slightly rancid smell of fish and stagnant seawater.
I think if there's a way that we can lure one out so we don't end up fighting a whole bunch of them at once, that might be the best plan.
You want me to bait one out? Is that what you're saying?
I think we should try.
Jackson takes a breath in. His one bad arm has been kind of strapped across him as they've made this journey, and in his good arm, his spear. He turns it now so that the bladed end is towards him and the blunt end down to the ground, and he begins to tap. He begins to taunt. He wants just one to chase him out. Just one. And I'm going to roll his animal handling to see how he does. If you'd like to assist, you will need to roll an animal handling, and on a success, you will add a dice to his pool.
Okay.
So you're looking for a 9 for you.
I got a 9.
Perfect. I'll roll that extra dice. Awesome. So you describe to me how you help Jackson in this baiting of the walrus from the cave.
I'm thinking I take out of my pack some dried meat and unwrap it and start to leave a trail to maybe lure it out with the smell of food.
Jackson nods, seeing your plan, and he taps more gently and calls to the beast with an old word, an old giant word for walrus. Come on. Don't you want to eat? Aren't you hungry like the rest of us? And he backs and he makes himself a little smaller, and you see one of these large walruses peel up from the rock it had been resting on, turn its head this and that. You see the whiskers twitch and turn, and it smells the food you've put before. And it ambles. It moves with a strange pace, a lurching forwards, pushing forwards, wanting to chase the human away from the food. It makes itself as big as it can, pushing up, slapping down with its front flippers onto the ground, a booming bark from its throat. And you see Jackson visibly shudder. He hadn't expected the creature to move quite so quickly, and he skitters back across the rocks, turning the spear now ably in his good hand, blade towards the beast. He looks to you, to Ingrid, to the other hunters, waiting for the signal.
I'll ready my spear as well.
There's a breath as the wind howls past, and it's Ingrid that launches first. She's just behind the beast. She jumps the gap about 6 foot between the rock she stood on and the rock it's on, and down comes her spear into the animal. Jackson moves up too, the spear coming in from the front. He aims for the head to kill the creature as quickly as he can. And what do you do, Runa?
I will come in and with Jackson aiming for the head, I'm going to try to aim up underneath its jaw to pin it from that side as well.
Okay, so I need you to make a fighting attack with your specialism. If you're throwing, then it will be in marksmanship.
Okay.
A 9. Do you have any additionals to add to that?
Right, 21.
Oh, previous roll. Perfect, 21. With skill, as the creature rears its head back to let out another bark, down comes Jackson's bladed spear tip into its head, and you lunge up and under, spearing the creature, its mouth now shut. And you feel its weight sagging down on the heft of your weapon. It's a heavy creature, and it lurches dead forward and down, pushing down onto your weapon, and you twist using your skill so that it doesn't snap it in two, so that you still maintain your spear, that it will be good for another day's hunt. In the cave behind, the echoing barks, bellows, and cries of the other creatures as they call out in a panic, in alarm. Let's get it moved. Quick.
I'll start helping drag it away.
And it is far from an easy task, but you are experienced and you have the hides brought out so that the creature can be put almost onto and essentially a tarp to drag it far more easily than flesh across stone. You see the trail of its blood leaking down into the surf, creating a pink froth in the small inlet. And it causes your eyes to drift out towards the horizon for just a moment as you hear the cry of a seagull, higher pitch than the barks of the seals and walruses in the cave. And there's that flash of white, tiny white bird, and then a bigger flash of white beyond, the sails of a ship.
We might have company. Work fast.
What do you mean company? There's no one on this damn beach.
There's sails out there.
Jackson wipes the sweat from his brow and he turns towards that horizon and squints. I don't see it, and he grabs onto the top and he pulls, trying to get this creature away. You can see more of the curious mammals emerging from the cave. What do you mean, Runa? Where? Ingrid asks.
I will try to point it out, and if I can still make it out.
You point, and you can see it relatively clearly. Now that you know where it is, it's easy for you to spot, but you can see that the surf is churning, and it's white against grey. Ingrid squints her eyes, and I'm going to roll. I've been using everyone's passive awareness, for anyone wondering, but she makes an active look, and she can't see it as she rolls 4. Good job, Ingrid. It's probably just ice. Come on. Gotta get this thing away.
All right. I will, as much as I want to try and keep a lookout, we have more important things, so I will try to help them get the job done as quickly as possible.
You know, we could take a second. More food. More food for the move.
Not a
Ingrid
bad idea.
suggests. Right. Jackson, you keep pulling. And she gets her spear, moves back up towards that cave mouth. Do you send anyone with her, Runa? As the other hunters look to you, trying to decide whether they should fear what is on the surf, the thing that they drag, or go and join the hunt.
I will send them with her. And I'll kind of keep an eye on Jackson and everything else.
She gives you a smile, pleased that you are kind of trusting her to lead the hunt. And they dart off down. You can hear their feet fall across the stones, and it sounds like a happy memory. It sounds like playing in the stream as children, not running along a frozen shore. But you are on a frozen shore, and the tide is turning as the sky is turning a strange yellow-grey. A storm is approaching. You get the carcass into kind of a sheltered area alongside that cliff face. This is where you'd left your supplies, where you'd left Reva with her baby. That was quick. She looks between you and the body.
We had good luck today.
Sea's turning. Weather is changing.
You see it?
There's no trees for a camp. Is this to be it?
We'll have to make do with what shelter we have. At least we can keep a weather eye on the sky.
Eyes on the sky. She drags herself to her feet. There's a wince of pain. She's still healing, as you know. The baby strapped to her body by pelts and cloth. She gets to pulling out the supplies that you've built for building your small kind of coverall shelters. She wields ably the hammer that drives stake into the ground, trying to find the best rocks to use as weights here and there where it needs shoring up. There's cries from down the beach. The hunt seems to escalate. They're talking, but their shouts are being snatched away by the howl of the wind and the crash of the waves. And as you look to that horizon, the boat draws ever closer.
There's a ship coming.
Why is the ship they're coming? There's nothing here.
Maybe they're after the same thing we are. Meat.
So we need to move.
Aye.
Where do we stay? If we move, we could get caught in the storm.
If we stay, they'll know we're here.
Something's happening up the beach. I'll pull this down. You get the others.
I'll go look at what's going on.
You make your way back up the beach and you can see more blood swirls in the water now, as the hunters seem to have been chased by 3 large walruses that have apparently teamed up for the fight to defend their cave. Great big bull walruses with long tusks and weights that could flatten 2 men without much struggle. They swerve their heads back and forth in threat. Sorry, go ahead.
I'll ready and knock an arrow on my hunting bow.
And one lunges towards Grayson, who had been attempting to come around to drag away one of the creatures. Much as you'd lied one out of the cave, he wanted to separate them, intent on getting a second kill for the day. And its tusk catches him in a vicious, goring swipe. I'm going to roll. And that's 3 6s, so that is 3 crits. And the tusk plunges deep, first into his stomach and rips down towards the thigh of his right leg as he falls to the ground, caught off guard by the weight and the violence of the beast attacking him. You have your arrow ready and aimed as you see this. Ingrid is moving around. She's moving to try and get Grayson. You can see that she's going in that direction, while the third hunter attempts to draw attention to themselves to keep the beasts from essentially crushing Grayson. Keep their attention distracted. Oh, what do you do, Runa?
I will take a shot.
All right, take a shot for me, please.
10.
A 10, that will succeed. Did you roll any 6s?
I got it, 1 6.
Okay, for the sake of this combat, just to keep it short, I'm going to count any 6s on a success as a crit. Just a minor tweak to our system, just to keep this combat moving. So on that, you do some damage to the creature. What is your damage? With a first level crit. Mm-hmm.
I did not write it down on my sheet.
Okay, I think it's your agility.
Agility,
What was your base?
Okay. My agility is 3.
Okay, 3. And you ignore one of the creature's AR with that 1 crit. And no, you loose this arrow and it hits and it goes in, but it doesn't seem to go very far as it hits blubber, an intense thick layer of fat for this creature. Another small trickle of blood coming. It's your strike. Is there anything else you'd like to do with your action?
I'm gonna try to start moving in closer to get the wounded man out of there.
Can you attempt to move around the creature? There are, however, 3, and they lunge and they wail at you. That's 11. I'm going to treat this as a persuasion intimidation roll for them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be a success. So with this creature, you are essentially intimidated by the mass of this creature. And come of a fan of walruses for the time being?
Not really. I don't have as much giant's blood as some of my kin. I'm gonna just stay back then and just get ready to keep shooting.
Okay, and you see the creature that had laid Grayson out onto his back with this deep wound come pummeling down towards him. So 12, that would be a success. And the weight cracks down onto his leg, and there's a crunch. Grayson howls and attempts to crawl backwards to move away as Ingrid is making it around, and she stabs the creature in its tail, attempting to turn it, attempting to get it to move anywhere but towards Grayson. And the creature does, it turns as far as it can, and the second walrus goes into the water and down. You're not sure how deep this little inlet is, but it's enough that this creature submerges. And the water is murky with brine and blood. Yarel. It had been a long trek through the wilds. And you had arrived at the village when it was no longer a village. And you set out for the wild shore a number of days after the others. But the wild shore had been your husband's home for much of his life. He loved the walrus hunt. And with your injury healed, you've been able to pick up the pace, and you didn't have the burden of supplies, nor the slowness of others to heed your feet. And you come to the cliff top in time to look down upon the swell of the sea and see in the distance the skirmish between walrus and wildling.
I hurry down a path that I know down to the beach as quickly as I can. Do I see them being a bit mauled by the walrus? I see it's gone wrong. Am I there at that time?
I think it's too you're too far away to see that specifically, but you can definitely see there's a number of these creatures out, and that the hunters are moving around and calling to each other, and it doesn't sound like it's a very successful hunt.
Right. I think then I'm not like panicking because I don't know. I'm more like, I'm missing the hunt. Like, so I think I'm just gonna like just unstrap or pull off one of my spears and kind of hurry down to like want to get involved more than anything. Like just annoyed still that I got delayed so much and taken away from the clan because I followed a crow for no freaking good reason. So not happy. I want to go join the clan.
I will say if you spend a destiny point, you can add that you know this secret path and you can get down safely in a hurry to join the action. If you don't want to spend the destiny point, I will make you roll to climb down the cliff, because that's going to be your quickest way to get to them. Otherwise, you've got to kind of go the long way around.
Let's spend a destiny point. We've never done it yet, and that's what the game's all about. So let's do it. Spend it.
Awesome. So you will get that destiny point back when you achieve one of your goals. But with the spend, you are adding a small detail to the scene, which is that you know a quick route down, and you wind between long dead gorse bushes and their spines, and you drop down onto what seems to be a small, softer, sandier part of the beach, and slip into the icy water just for a moment, and you are a sprint away from the hunt.
Yeah, I head off. I run off towards it. Not probably at full pelt because I don't want to arrive there tired. But I jog. I jog towards it so I don't miss it.
With the adrenaline of the hunt in your veins, you charge towards, keeping careful watch of your footwork. And you see, just in time, as the walrus that disappeared below the waves comes surging up out of the water to chase away 3 more of your clan who are attempting to move in to rescue Grayson to help gain control of the situation. And this is a huge walrus, and it stomps down hard on its flippers, its mouth wide and extended with those great tusks. These are huge tusks. These would make very fine weapons, at least enough for a short sword. And
I'm
Runa,
gonna get in there. Sorry, carry on. Yeah.
Yep. And you move in, and Runa, you see Urel appear as if from out of nowhere, a phantom summoned by the blood of the hunt, perhaps. She has a wild look about her. She's been trekking for days in the wilderness, and she's there, spear in hand, weapon ready. Oh, sorry, it's an axe, right, for Urel? Is that right, Kate?
I have a spear, an axe, and a bow, I think, so I have multiple.
There she is.
Spear probably for this.
I want back.
Yeah.
One woman armory appears, ready and savage. And Runa, it is your turn in initiative.
You've got your bow ready. You got here, I call out, and then I'll take my shot.
All right, take your shot. Don't forget, if you're taking the effort to aim, that'll improve things for you.
Okay.
Six. You take your shot, but you completely miss the walrus, as perhaps the arrow has been damaged in the trip. Perhaps a distraction as a wave comes crashing into the shore right next to you, splattering you with this ice-cold water. The arrow just skitters away into the stones, splintering and breaking as it goes. Grayson wails in agony. But as he does so, he calls for you to leave him and to get back.
That's not how I do things. I'm gonna sling the bow and get ready to go in with my spear.
Okay, spear is ready. Urel, Runa, you can hear Jackson calling from down the beach as he's come running back up. He'd been helping Reva with the supplies with the walrus that had already been slain, and is now caught up, and he's calling to find out what's happening and what kind of the plan is, as he can see hunters being kept at bay by these great giant beasts of the ocean, and hear the cries of Grayson, in the midst. What are we doing? What's the plan?
Runa! What's the plan?
We've got to get him out of there. I'm not leaving anyone behind.
I'd like to fling one of my spears at the creature attacking him, if I can.
Yeah, go for it. So that'll be your fighting with spears specialism.
Yeah.
Or it'd be marksmanship if you're throwing it.
Marksmanship thrown if I'm gonna throw it, because I'm not that close to him, right? He's kind of being kept.
You could. I would allow you in this turn to kind of move up and get in there and stab him. You will be in the melee, so to speak. But there's no like attack of opportunity that's going to happen. It's just you will then be.
There's like 3 walruses, 2 kind of keeping us, and he's kind of caught by the other.
With one.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I think if I don't feel like I'm in danger of if I missed hitting him or if he's moving around, then I think I will throw one because I've got at least one other. Yeah, I have a couple so that I can throw some, but just to see if I can, if nothing else, send that creature away rather than jumping in to the mix. Firstly, so I've got marksmanship thrown. I could do. Will that work?
Okay. Yep.
Yep,
that works.
And my Shadowcat is here, so does that... Oh no, because it's marksmanship, it's now not fighting, right? So I can't use the extra D. Is that correct?
I'll let you use it if Cloud gets involved in the melee, then she can give you advantage that way. Because it's basically, the idea is kind of like a pack tactics thing. It's always giving you an advantage because they're there to distract or assist in the fight.
Okay.
But
yeah,
if Cloud is staying back right now, then it wouldn't apply.
I think I will kind of send Cloud to try and get involved to do a similar thing, because if nothing else, she might be able to grab Grayson and grab a piece of clothing and pull him from the thing. So she's definitely getting involved.
Is that kind of your command to Cloud, like get Grayson?
Yeah. I'm gonna make that I don't know if that then actually assists, but I think that's the first thing, because she can easily get in there and just drag him out of the fray a bit more, hopefully.
Yeah, I'll let you have the assist for this because they're in there and that's a distraction. So that'll give you that +1.
Okay, gives me a +1.
She's being helpful.
Oh, that's a lot of ones. Oh god.
And it is a lot of ones.
Okay, wow, that was 3 1s and a 2. 4 1s and 2. Wow, okay. That was just awful.
So this is how I'm going to describe what happens is you go to throw this spear, but as you are about to release, the creature moves, and if you'd have released at that moment, you could have hit Grayson, you could have hit Cloud, and you just like clutch onto that spear and you kind of slip forwards a little bit. I'm not going to make you critical fumble right now and do something really nasty, but essentially you kind of off balance yourself, stopping yourself from heaving the spear and potentially killing a loved one.
Yeah.
And the wind is picking up. It's pulling at all of your clothing. It's blowing hair and sea foam into your face. And the conditions are getting rough as everything on this beach is getting swirled and swept up.
I kind of want to, I don't know if I can, I've just had my turn, but I think I want to start like almost waving and trying to get their attention to separate the group a bit more, or to just draw them away from Grayson. Either through I think not necessarily looking aggressive, just waving and shouting and just
attention seeking.
Yeah, just trying to do something different.
Animal handling charm for you. And Runa, while Yorel is attempting to get the attention of these walruses, you saw her about to throw that spear and she stops, overbalancing, and then starts waving. What are you going to do?
I'm going to try to circle around and get to Grayson again.
Okay, so you can circle around and get to Grayson. The creature, this walrus, is huge and is distracted by a cat that's moving in. Yorel's waving, it's turning its head around. It completely failed its awareness notice check that I just rolled for it. So it doesn't notice you in this moment, but you are very close to it. And you can see that it's been injured a number of times. There are scars all over its body from previous fights. This is a survivor. And the blood is just there on its tusks.
I rolled a 12 on my charm, animal handling.
Perfect. Runa.
So
I'm
gonna try to grab Grayson and drag him back as quickly as I can.
Okay. Arms go kind of under his, so you can drag him back and away as quickly as you can. You're not a particularly large woman, but are you going to be strong today, Runa? That is our question. I'd like you to make a roll for me to drag him. This is going to be, I think, athletics strength. Is that the right way around, Fab?
Okay. Can I use one of my bonus dice?
You certainly can. So it's a keep dice for you. We'll use the one that Pope gave you that I forgot to put on the overlay because I'm a terrible human being.
Okay.
So I don't have to update the overlay. Ooh.
13.
Very nice. You put your arms under, and with a strength of determination, you heave and you pull backwards.
Come
His
on.
leg is limp and kind of twisted at a very strange angle, and there's just blood. His torso is just blood. And you pull him back, and there's perspiration and sea salt all over his face. And he's not really making much noise anymore, but you can see his face is just twisted in pain. And that he's lost a lot of color. Urel, you have the attention of the walrus, and Jackson comes in behind and tries to get the attention of one of the others to try and free up the wildlings who are currently being all but chased across the beach by this animal.
Hey, over here! Over here!
The scarred walrus kind of flops down with a oomph kind of sound at you, and it watches.
What about the other two?
One is warily watching you, but its attention is currently on Jackson, who is running very quickly around it, trying to outpace the lunge that it could make, trying to get to the third walrus who's busy chasing wildlings down the beach.
Do I see, or did I see, the already dead walrus? Do I know they've already killed one? I'm not sure if I do.
No, because it's kind of almost like around the corner of the cliff from here. You luckily kind of came up right where they were, so you could see them. But you couldn't see the camp that was further down, which is nearer where that walrus would have been.
Are they still all quite grouped together? Can we try and separate them by?
They're currently pretty much pulled apart. You've got one that's looking at you, one that's maybe 10 feet away that's with Jackson right now, and then the one that's busy with the other wildlings. Okay. I think that one, the one that's busy with the other wildlings, probably has some of the seals and things with it. Kind of not as like a mass group, but they're all kind of going that way.
Right, yeah. They've kind of gone off the other direction kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Does Grayson look like he's... Not Grayson, the other...
Jackson.
Jackson. Is Jackson looking like he's trying to attack the walrus he's next to?
Jackson definitely looks like he's thinking about it. He's got that very engaged look about him. Determined.
Okay.
He sees an opportunity.
I will try and sort of like order Cloud to keep an eye on the walrus that was attacking and try and keep them at bay kind of thing. And I will go after the same one as Jackson, and I will try, while it's kind of distracted by him, jab it right in the back of the neck with my spear.
Okay, I'd like you to make one roll for Cloud as she attacks the walrus. That's essentially how I'm going to treat this, even if it's not to kill it, it's still an attacking action. You can decide whether that's with claws or with teeth that she's using, and then a roll for yourself. And Runa, you've gotten Grayson clear. It's very obvious he's in a bad way, and it's an injury that you've got to treat. So we'll consider that an auto success on any treat injury roll you need to make.
Okay. I will.
Sorry, on any diagnose injury, I should say.
Yeah.
Diagnose ailment. Yeah. So you've got an auto success on that, but to treat this, it's going to be heroic difficulty 21. Because he is basically nearly torn in half by that tusk that had come for him and the weight of the beast lumbering upon him.
I will use another of my bonus dice for this.
Okay.
$25.
Truly heroic indeed.
Stay with me, Grayson.
So the way this will work is you will, I imagine you kind of get him swaddled as best you can in your clothing, and your entire attention goes to stopping the bleeding as quickly as you can, and that's going to basically consume your attention for the time being as you get to treating him. But you deeply believe that if you can keep treating him, you could save his life, even as the storm grows around you. Yarel, how did you and Cloud do?
So, Cloud rolled a 15
Okay.
for a fight. I mean, the claws are better in damage, and so it makes sense if I'm trying to damage. And for myself, I actually would also like to use my dice because I don't want to forget to use it, and I want to kill this thing straight out if I can, so that I don't.
Thank you so much, Chaos Chorus.
Yeah. So, axes and spears. That's this. All right, I'm just copying and pasting, and then I can add the extra for. Oh wait, have I added the extra? Let me just check. Yeah, no, that one's already added with Cloud. Okay. 17 for me.
Okay.
You're out for the stab.
All right. What is the damage on that as you drive your weapon into this creature?
The spear is a damage 3 times success.
Okay. That is 2 degrees of success. So that goes up to 6.
Okay.
Plus, because we're counting everything with 6s in as crits for this encounter, you are going to ignore 1 AR.
Okay.
I am going to say you get a second attack on this creature as your axe comes down and into it, and it is kind of stunned, caught off guard, and make your second attack on this creature.
Okay.
The first attack was a violent hit, and you can feel that you cut a deep way into the beast.
So yeah, so I'm using the spear to try and jab it, and then I'll come in with the axe to try and almost lop its head off.
Okay,
I think.
perfect. So yeah, you get it with the spear, and you get it nice and deep into the beast. Nearly all of the spear disappears in with the force that you've pushed it.
18 on the axe.
Perfect, and I see a 6 in it. You then bring down the axe and just cleave into it as hard as you can. And it's not quite a complete decapitation, but it's pretty
it's
close.
Only a smallish axe. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a big walrus. So.
And the memories of battle have haunted you for your entire walk here. And in that moment, you get to feel some relief of that tension as you kill the creature that had nearly taken someone else from you.
Is Cloud managing to keep that other walrus at bay? Is that walrus looking like it's about to come after us? Or is it kind of
Cloud,
is it done?
Cloud lunged at it, and Jackson saw your strikes on the beast, and instead is trying to now chase the walrus away, essentially trying to get it to back off. He's not cornering it so that it has nowhere to go, and he's kind of changed tactic in that way. He's seen that you've gotten a kill. That's all he wanted. It doesn't matter if he did it or you did it. And Ingrid has now come running up the beach to join, and the walrus that had been there is now moving off and away, backing away from the hunters and from you.
Okay, yeah, I'll be encouraging Cloud to help them sort of like chase it away, basically. We got one. We got one for Runa. Right. You alright?
Hi.
Ingrid, you alright?
Hi. This storm coming in. We gotta move.
Yeah.
And you can feel now that it's not just salt from the swell hitting you, but it's rain. It's just coming down, great big clumps, heavy droplets of rain.
Where's the camp? Where did you go?
We set up down the beach.
Might need some help carrying this. And I start to just grab it by one of the tusks and try, although I might have chopped the head too much, so I might end up just pulling the head off, but I'm gonna try and start dragging it.
I think that's what you do. As you pull, the head just kind of comes off at that point. And it's probably just as well because the entire beast is much too heavy for you to drag in that way by itself, and you probably would have toppled over. So you
I'd probably topple over holding a head in my hand going, was dead. Yeah, we get
I'll go get the sled.
Right.
Hold on.
Of course.
Come on, Ingrid. And so Jackson and Ingrid pelt it down the beach to go and get the sled, something that you can move the animal onto to drag. And Runa is a little way up the shore from you, over the top of Grayson. Grayson, who thankfully for you, Runa, has now fallen unconscious, but is breathing at least evenly. It's probably best he's not awake for this because of the amount of pain that he would be in.
Mm-hmm. I will just keep tending to him as best I can. Everybody else can worry about dressing the kills and setting up camp.
Okay, I'd like you to make a second healing test for Grayson. This time the difficulty decreases. It's down to 18.
Okay.
And if you succeed on this one, he will be stabilized. He will need a lot of time to rest to properly heal, but it will keep him alive.
16.
You do what you can, but there's a lot of blood loss. And you are fairly certain he will die soon. There's only so much you can do on a frozen shore when a storm is cooling and so much damage has been done to our body. What do you do, Runa?
I will start saying prayers to the old gods and get ready to hold a vigil for him.
I will offer you a devil's bargain. Normally, Destiny Point burns and spends have to be declared before a roll. But in exchange for you burning a Destiny Point as you kneel here saying oaths and prayers in sea spray and walrus blood, if you burn your Destiny Point, I will allow you to add basically +5 to your test result, which will make it a success and you will stabilize Grayson. However, burning a Destiny Point means you cannot get it back. Once it is gone, it is gone. And you have to have a Destiny Point to spend, or to burn.
I have exactly 1 Destiny Point left to burn. So, let's do it.
Okay. Alyssa, describe for me how the old gods answer your oaths and prayers on this frozen shore. And describe for me what price they will ask you to pay.
As the cold wind and rain beat down on me and soak into my clothes, I start packing snow around his body to slow down the blood loss. And I know it's risky because cold is bad too, but we want to try to keep him from losing any more blood. And I wrap him in as many layers as I can to kind of balance that out. And I don't care if I end up getting sick. I will heal myself later. I just keep reciting the old prayers and doing everything I know how to do. Because I've lost enough of my clan.
And in a fervor of prayers, of oaths, of old words, of walrus blood, of wildling blood, of giant blood, here on this shore, Runa, you perform a miracle in the saving of Grayson's life. He will lose the leg, but he will not lose his life. And you know in the pit there will be a price to pay, and that you have already agreed that it may be your fortitude that it costs. But the storm swells, and you feel a strength in you that you've not felt before. An old strength of your people from this land.
I feel an ache in my shoulder from that old injury I gave myself trying to keep up with my peers in archery as a child. And I'm going to be feeling that for a while.
Perfect. And we will leave the wildlings on the frozen shore for a moment. Journey down the length of the coast, and then up past the valley and land towards the castle of Giant's Chair. The furthest most... Which way are we? Eastern castle of the wall.
West.
East of Westeros.
No, west.
Are you not?
West. We're west of the Shadow Tower.
Okay. Oh yeah, it's called Eastwatch by the Bay, but yeah, that's right. Or Eastwatch by the Shore, or whatever it's called. Alright, anyway, that castle that you can find all about on Wild Anvil. We go to there. With its Giant's Chair, literally in the courtyard, from which a sheet of ice had slipped into a training exercise. The castle to which the crows, the Night's Watch, had returned after the slaying of a strange beast. At least some of them had returned. The leader of this castle of the Night's Watch, Commander Dondarian. Night gathers, and your watch, it feels, will never end here. And if it does end, it will be in cold and violence, you have no doubt. Where do we find you as we come back to Giant's Chair?
He's actually on top of one of the towers, looking out, trying to just get in the dark a feel for the place, as well as a feel for one of the few scorpions that this keep still has. Trying to get an idea should those things decide to come south. Will they be able to make the shots?
The equipment is at least well maintained. The only thing so far that you found that is well maintained here at Giant's Chair. And you've poured over the maps and the alignments. You've had the builders in to make calculations. And one such builder has sought a meeting with you. Recruit Laris. You had been tasked with checking the wall, both sides. You had ended up going with the rangers into the wilds to find those that had been lost. Tell me what it is you intend to do in your meeting with Commander Dondarian as I take us away from the shore.
I come to meet with the commander, knowing that I owe a report on the castle itself, and knowing that honesty demands that I have nothing new to tell him about what the damage may or may not be to the foundations of the castle and to the wall itself. Knowing also that honesty demands that I tell as much as I can remember about the expedition north of the wall, how it was led, what it cost us, and my fears for what may be running through the brothers here at this castle under new leadership.
Right, and so you find yourself at the commander's office. The door to this office is heavy, made with a thick tree that had been felled in that no man's land before the wall, braced with cold iron from southern mines. And the handle, well worn, large enough for a giant to knock with. Commander, is your door open? Closed? Ajar?
He keeps it now that so much has gone wrong. About 6 inches ajar. You can hear the screams from there.
Laris coming to the door, I think having no strong idea of what time it is. I think that I've been resting and recovering with sort of some fitful sleep, and now come to the commander. Unsure even what time of day it is, but knowing that this is where I need to be first. Creak open the door and probably pull it a bit, and I imagine that it doesn't pull as far open as I think that it does, so I sort of squeeze through it. Commander, I have much to report to you. I think more that you desire than I have to report, but I've come to tell you what I know of the missions that I was commanded.
Have a seat, recruit.
Yes, Commander. Thank you.
All right. So, what do you have to tell me?
The your command to me of inspecting the building, of course. I cannot deliver to you, but I bring to you, I think, more important information of the creature that attacked us.
Okay, let's hear it.
In the north of the wall in the forest, as I was led with my command under that of Sir Jarden, we met first with the wildlings watching us from the trees. They joined our hunt, where we found another thing, another foul creature in the trees, a large ape, horrific to face. And while our group was able to defend ourselves from it, defeat it with the help of the wildling, surely there were more of them, we believe, and because our group had been split, our strength had been divided, we were not able to return in the full force that we should have.
Why did you split up?
So that was not my command. That was the command of Sir Burke.
I understand.
Before this continues, I feel an intrigue are brewing, and as such, we need to roll status reading tests to establish who will be going first.
Cool.
And then we will be using the actions and techniques as you can see them on your cheat sheets. I am very sorry to interrupt your role play, but I can feel in the air.
You are correct. There is something in the air.
My check is a 7.
Operating on manually. So, give me a second.
No worries. Gonna try and get Fancy Grounds back up.
So, sets. $18.
So, Commander Dondarian, you will be first in the intrigue rounds. It's important to decide at the start of an intrigue what your disposition is towards the other person. So take a look at those options. There are 5 in our streamlined version as opposed to the 7 in the normal version.
I'm going to say, yeah.
You don't have to announce them, but it's fine if you do. I'm fine with open secrets, but it's up to you.
Let's go have an open secret. We'll go with amiable.
And friendly.
So amiable would be friendly on our chart, right, Pip? DR2.
Believe so. Wait, double check.
Because affectionate, it goes affectionate, friendly, indifferent, unfriendly, malicious.
It would be friendly. It would be friendly.
Perfect. So bear those in mind. Your DR kind of acts as an armor, if you like, in intrigues. It will soak some of that intrigue damage for you. Perfect. All right, so Pope, you were posing a question as Dondarian.
Yes. I understand that wasn't your command, but why did you split up?
I believe that the intention was to broaden the search, perhaps not knowing what risk we were facing. Although we saw a man come back in half, I don't know why. I don't know why he felt so safe to divide our strength that way.
How long have you been at Castle Giant's Chair, Recruit Lars?
I've been here some 2.5 years, Commander.
Right. 2.5 years and still a recruit.
Well, as you may understand, there were your predecessor took many of the recruits into battle early, and so I've been here for several years, have not completed my training with the builders, as that was delayed until your arrival.
I see. Well, since you're telling me all this, what would you have done?
Well, I surely would have kept us together. I'll be honest, I admire the wisdom of Sir Burke to parley with the wildlings and bring them into our search, and I would have continued that wisdom to keep the group together and perhaps it was foolish for him to take men so unprepared on arranging. I think that I would have brought people that would have known better than to split up.
Okay. What is your first technique and roll, please, as we begin this conversation?
Shield of Reputation.
Okay. So, for Shield of Reputation, you roll a status reputation versus the passive will of Recruit Laris, and if you succeed, you improve his disposition towards you by 1 step. So he will move from friendly to whatever one is affectionate.
$25.
I'm gonna guess
Yeah.
that is more than your passive will result, Laris.
That will clear my 9.
Okay. So affectionate, the way I interpret it is, it's not necessarily like romantically affectionate. It's you respect this person, you trust this person. It's that kind of a relationship. It's a very deep respect that you have for them. So keep that in mind, Dev, for your role play. And Dev, what was Laris doing as he spoke with the commander? I'm gonna guess he was trying to influence by either persuasion, convince, or deception.
Convince.
You are at -1 die for this.
For
due to the fact that the commander
Does he have
is
beautiful?
beautiful. Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
'Cause I
Okay,
also
so
have Craven minus. So.
mhm.
And it's a persuasion. It's a persuasion convince check.
Persuasion convince. Unless you were being deceitful about anything you just said. Deception does include not, skipping over things, lies of omission. I think you were being truthful. I believe that is Laris's belief. But obviously you can tell me otherwise.
Yeah,
but if not,
that's the
persuasion
intention.
convince. Okay, yeah, persuasion convince then.
Okay,
You do
so
have
that's-
one bonus dice up on your screen if you'd like to use that. It's a keep dice,
Okay.
I should say, from the audience. From our lovely friends out there in the Chaos Chorus.
That's a keep die, if I use the bonus?
Yes.
All right, let me use that. So
If
that's
like
going to
to.
be 5d6 drop 2. Which gives me a 12.
Okay, so this is versus your social defense. Intrigue defense is what it's called, sorry.
Intrigue defense is a 12.
Okay, so that will be 1 degree of success on a match. And the damage is your will rank.
Which is 3.
3.
The arc friendly is 2, so I will take 1.
Yep. Perfect. Okay, his argument lands, but you're not entirely convinced of everything. Okay.
Tell me more about how Burke was able to convince the wildlings to go with you. Also, in detail, I want to know disposition, location, and complement.
He wasn't the first to spot them. But Burke was the first to figure out that the wildlings did not want a fight with us. To me, they looked like hunters, but to him, well, he was able to see through that. It was just beyond where the trees begin. We spotted them watching us. I have seen the way that how quickly they can come down from those trees in an assault, and warned him of the risk. He told them what we were hunting, something that could tear a man in half. They seemed to think that just about anything you'd encounter in those forests could tear one of us in half, but he wasn't. Well, that didn't weaken him in any way. That didn't seem to strike him, and he pushed on with them, telling them what we feared. And well, I imagine that they, as much as they pretended not to be afraid, they were interested anyways to find out what it was that we were seeking. And joined us peacefully. But surely with some suspicion. I think all of us would be suspicious.
That's good, but at the same time, I want to know how many of them were there. What did you see?
Hope, make your roll, please. You tried to get the information from Laris.
Yeah, we're going to go with a persuasion convince. fun thing with being a steward as a brother of the Night's Watch is you get to add your stewardship dice as bonus dice.
Very nice.
So when you hear this cacophony, you'll know why. That's a 16.
Okay, so that is versus your intrigue defense. Dev?
Yeah, which sorry, my intrigue defense is a 10.
Okay. Alright, so that'll be 2 degrees of success for Pope. Or rather for the commander.
And damage is my will, which is 4.
Okay, so that is 8. It really is Dev. Here, all right. While we wait for Dev to get back, we'll hold on to that as you convince him to tell you what he knows about the wildlings. And I'm going to pass on over to Sabek, somewhere in the Castle of Giants chair. And you are working on a letter, Sabek. Where are you in the castle, and what have you been doing?
I expect he's like in the archives. He spends a lot of time there actually when he's not on duty, or taking meals. He's reading, trying to learn if anybody asks, trying to learn about the history of this place, what might lie beyond, how better to defend Giant's Chair and the realm from what might come north. Everybody makes the joke, oh yeah, it's all just snarks, grumkins up there, ha ha ha, have fun. No, especially now after that ranging, there are things out there. Terrible, terrible things. And if you can get any edge, that's good. But it's not research that he's here for. He's writing a letter. And the letter goes as thus. My dear sister, I expect this letter finds you well. Summer has come, and so the Crownland should be pleasantly warm. It has gotten warmer here, but the wall and the lands beyond it are still cold, bitterly cold, like Ironman's Bay in the dead of winter. But still, with the summer, the wall weeps, and with it, reasons to weep. 2 recruits were crushed in the yacht today when a sheet of ice broke from Giant's Chair. It was damn foolish. No idea why they were so close to that thrice-cursed thing, but there they were. Now they're no more. There's talk the ice will expose secrets it's long kept, and while I would be interested in seeing what lost tales the wall might hold, I do have other duties. I lost more men in arranging tonight. It was awful. We were attempting to perform a routine survey of the castle to see if there was damage the thaw might exacerbate, when one of my men came riding back with half a man behind him. Claimed there was a monster out there. He was right. There was. Monster likes of which I've never seen and hope to never see again. It walked like a man, but it had the frame and temperament of a starved bear. Fortunately, we were able to subdue it. But unfortunately, there was a pack of them out there, and we were forced to retreat. We believe another half-dozen brothers are lost from that ranging. I wanted to save them, but I couldn't. Had I tried, I would have lost everyone, and that would have been a deplorable dereliction of duty. I'm praying Commander Dundarian sees things my way. Your request for legends for the children did not fall on deaf ears. I've heard many tales of magic weapons, lost tomes of knowledge, and even of a great treasure in the wild known as the Starfall. I've not had occasion to explore out that far, but if I do, I'll make sure to pen down the tale, as I'm sure my nephew would be quite pleased to hear of how Uncle Jarden recovered a star from the north. No other special tales as yet this time, though I'll try to have a proper accounting of the encounter with the great white monster next time. Do send my tidings to Nestor and the boys. Your loving brother, Sir John Burke. And
Brother,
with that,
I've found that book you were looking for.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Please, place it
Here.
here.
The entry for Half-Hand is rather extensive and quite curious. He blows the dust off of the ledger. We keep the page open, it appears, for visitors, but, you know, boys in reading. Very old-fashioned, I suppose.
Something
There.
like that. Thank you.
It would appear Half-Hand is buried in the crypt below a giant's chair.
Of course it would be. After the wielder perished, it's only fit that the blade be buried until necessary once more.
I think it was like good luck, you know. Keep the spirit in the castle. Keep the castle strong. The towers standing. We do need the towers to stand, or we're not a castle. Yes.
Not much of one, no. And he'll finish sealing up the letter that he had penned and hand it to the maester. Maester, would you kindly please make sure this is sent to Old Town? It might be relayed. It's important information for some people who need it.
Everyone in Old Town enjoys information. That's why they're there. It's where all the maesters live. It's where I lived. On Hell Town, Old Town. Yes.
It's a good town. And now we're here.
Good women. And men.
Excellent women and men, if my memory serves.
Wonderful libraries.
Many libraries. Many archives. Many secrets.
Yes. Secrets and information. Yes. Many things traded between lips in Old Town. Yes.
Many, many things. With any hope, not too many things, or at least the right things.
Not looking to replace me, are you, brother? He eyes
Never.
the letter suspiciously.
I would never do that. I value your counsel and wisdom here.
And I value your bullshit, good friend. Most amusing, most amusing.
Get on your bat.
I was there at the tournament. When the Chicken Knight rode against the Lady Bear.
Which time?
Well, you didn't do so well in the time that I watched.
I believe it was that day. Many people said the chicken learned to fly. If I'm not mistaken.
I heard things about chickens, and I heard things about being on one's back, but, yes, chickens and flying, yes, quite.
Something to that extent. We might have to catch up when we don't have other duties to occupy us at some point. It was a good day still. Many interesting events.
A time before night gathered. Yes, yes.
And we had to take our watches.
I fear we will be in interesting times until our watches end. But that is what we agreed to, is it not, brother?
Sworn by volunteer or by coercion is still an oath to keep.
Ears and eyes and patience. Yes.
He'll inch the book over and start to flip through.
Would you tell me what you were looking for if I asked you, brother? He smiles and he has like 2 teeth left.
Maester, I don't know if you believe me at this point.
You'd be amazed at the things I would believe. I lived in Old Town, remember? Once.
Maybe. Maybe if you
Perhaps.
ask.
What are you looking for, boy?
Pardon. At this point, what I am looking for is I want to know about the Starfall. There's something about it just fascinates me. What it might mean, the portents, what could be out there. Call it boyhood fancy, wanting to see something that no one's seen before.
Boyhood fancy to find the monster under his bed, I think.
You can't prove there wasn't. But if I prove
There are
I can,
accounts of the expedition. Commander Greyjoy was extensive in his writing of it for the brief time that he was commander. Had two
Greyjoy.
brothers. Threes, said Jordan. Threes.
a Greyjoy riding. Now there's a myth.
I've seen them ride. I've not seen them ride well.
I said right, but riding would also be
Oh.
a feat for a Kraken.
Old ears and eyes. I apologize.
You have nothing to apologize for, Maester.
Perhaps he barked it at his clerk, and the clerk wrote the story. At which
That's
point you
fine.
must ask, what interest had the clerk in the words that he wrote?
If the clerk wrote it, maybe he left something out that could be important to the legend.
Or better yet, maybe he put something in.
Or that too. Wouldn't be the first time a scribe's embellished a tale to make it seem more fanciful.
Well, it does say in the footnotes of this legend on Halfhand that it is believed the finding of the cache was what disturbed the gods to throw the star from the sky.
That is quite the portent.
Yes.
Doesn't it also say if one has the half hand, they might be guided unerringly towards the starfall?
It is said, what is dead cannot die.
Strange words.
Bored boys get fancy with words. And I know no one more bored than an Island Islander. Pitiful place.
Miserable.
I can see why they came to the wall. At least life is interesting here, what? Oh, that reminds me, the specimen. And he shuffles back, and it's speed that you would not expect. And he turns, and he's got this large jar, and it's this murky iodine brown color. And he turns. And as he turns, the water in it swirls, and the item within it rotates, and you see that ghoulish face of the bone ape turn to stare out at you. It's going rather well.
Very well, Maester.
Shame you didn't pull back the whole thing. It would have made quite a display for the castle.
If I had the time, Maester, potentially. Having that would beat just about any bearskin rug you have down south.
And if what is dead does never die, don't you wonder what stories it would tell? And he turns to look at the skull. And he moves one of the hands around and kind of taps on it. Hello. Not so talkative.
Oh, it was quite chatty when we first met it.
Chatty, yes, but did you listen? What did it tell you?
I'm afraid I must not be that good a listener, Maester, because all I heard was "Raw! Raw!"
good impression. Very good, very good. Most you're gonna have the brothers all rushing in here to find out what is eating poor little Maester me. Ha 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 ha. And he looks at the skull, and then he looks at you. They say the dead do haunt their murderers. What do you think of that, brother?
I must not pay them enough heed. I sleep soundly as any child, Maester.
Good. You need good sleep. There are long nights here on the wall, even if the damn sun refuses to go down. Tell me what you find about the stars. I'll look around for some more books for you.
Much obliged, Maester. I believe I will get to that. And yes, if I have a good tale for you.
Some of the books, you know.
Who?
The commander. The Tomes of the Wildlings. You burnt them.
Glover?
Yes. Pitiful man.
Maybe we're all the better that he died out on the ice.
Maybe we are. Books, yes, books. And 5 men with good ears and eyes and patience. Yes, 5, no 10. Some men. And a message to Old Town. Very important. Secrets in Old Town.
Very, very important.
And he places the jar with the head down next to the ledger in front of you on the desk. Letter. Must be taking it.
Much obliged, Maester.
Be careful, sometimes the books talk too.
Oh, the stories they might tell.
Not as good as the ones the walls know. And he laughs and it echoes around.
Tap, tap. Well, guess it's you and me, friend. Let's go. He'll dive into the tome.
Alright, I'd like you to make a knowledge research test.
Knowledge research?
Yeah. And you're looking for a 9, and every degree of success you get to ask me one question, which I will answer truthfully.
All right. I am going to spend one of the copious amounts of bonus dice I have been granted today by people. Thank you so much. Or bonus die. It's
dice getting donated? Did I miss that?
Like I had, like,
you know what? I will let you.
I've got,
I will also let you use your boon to also give you, and I will go and check up the overlay on the bonus dice. By bonus dice, I mean test dice. Extra test dice are useful.
Okay, let's see. It's a 9 on the nose, so at least I've got that.
Perfect. And in addition, we'll give you another narrative boon down the line, but just so we can use it in the game, and I'll give you an additional thing later.
Yeah, that's fine.
9 on the nose. All right. So you have one question to ask me, and I will answer truthfully.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything useful about the starfall to my purpose?
I will. Yes, something useful. Ask me something specific that I can answer for you about that.
Would I be able to transport the starfall out of here?
Give me 1 second. I'm going to hand back over to Commander Dondarian and recruit Laris. Because I have a vibrating phone that I need to go and find. I will be right back.
So, How many wildlings were there?
Muted.
I believe that we had 5 of them with us. If that's... Yes.
5.
It was a small group.
Did you see their camp? Have an idea of direction?
Some of them headed back, and I couldn't tell you which direction they had gone, but the group that was with us were scouts away from their main camp. There was a dispute among them, and only one decided to stay with us.
Tell me more about this one wild.
She was ferocious and sharp. I saw her take the beast as it was falling from, as it came down from the tree. I had lost where it was in the branches, but keen eyes as I have, but she positioned herself like a statue underneath it, without flinching, gored the creature 3 or 4 times her size as it came down.
All right. Now, this creature. I need you to describe it in detail. Leave nothing out.
We saw it first in the trees. Its head and face like a skull. The thing we've brought back, you might think, is only what is left of it, but that's what the creature appeared like the entire time. A bone white skull with sunken eyes on top of a hulking body that moved through the trees like lightning, faster than lightning. I didn't see how it caught up to me that quickly. Beast maybe 9 feet tall if it had wanted to stand up, with ferocious claws and long teeth.
Anything else to report to me, recruit?
Well, that there are more of them. I saw from the top of a tree a skirmish further in the distance, the one that we were not able to catch up to. And well, Commander, if I may be honest with you, Sir Jarden is surely a trusted brother, but I think he's also a brute of a man, and I would be wary of him.
All right, Dev, time for you to roll. As a GM, I'm going to give you +1 bonus dice for wonderful roleplay. I love your description of the beast, and yep, I'm all about this. Give me those juicy fruits. Come for each other.
So, is this deception? Is this a persuasion?
My thought is that it's persuasion insight.
You're at minus
Yeah.
1 die.
-1. Okay. So let's see that. All right. That is.
Yeah, respected makes it so it's minus 1 die.
And you've got a bonus dice from me, which is a +1B, not a D, so like a specialty dice.
Okay, so that's 5 minus 3 this time.
And thank you to Super Wasp King, who donated to give me a nat 20 and Dev a nat 1, which in this game is a plus test dice to our pool or a minus test dice. I will inflict that at the most painful opportunity possible.
I'd also like to use my anointed for the day.
Okay. When you read for us what anointed does, Pope, don't mind.
Well, upon one's knighting, if it is a special occasion, a noted occasion, one is anointed. Typically, this gives you a +2 bonus in status tests, but once per day. You can use it to get a +5 to your defenses and ability tests for 1 round. As a free action.
There we go. All right, so you are adding +5 to your social intrigue defense. Okay. What did you roll, Dev?
I rolled a 9.
17.
Okay, so that will not succeed. So I almost imagine as you present your case, Recruit Lars, feel free to jump in, by the way, Dev, and correct me, but I imagine this is how I imagine it. As you are presenting your case, you're working up to it, you've painted the scene. So Jarden is a brute, is your final point. And at this moment, you look up at the commander, and you feel that lump in your throat, that little craven lump. And there's kind of a little bit of a squeak as brute comes out. And it becomes less convincing and less inciting.
Yep.
Fruit layers. You've been here for years.
Yes, sir.
The Watch has a reputation of taking whomever we get. We take our oaths seriously. I don't care what you were. I don't care if you're a criminal, coward, knight, scullery worker. I don't care. If you are a brother of the wall, if you uphold your oath, you have a home here. And Burke is a ranger. I know you haven't had ranger training. But rangers have to deal with monsters. Not wildlings. Wildlings are a nuisance. But monsters. You got to see a little bit of that. I would suggest that you see to your training. In fact, I think you should find that we 13-year-old fella have him train you on sword defense. In fact, I'd suggest you start drilling, considering that I have a feeling what you saw is going to become a problem here very soon. And since we have no idea as to the disposition of our keep, we are going to have to pray to the old gods and the new that it all holds. Make ready, recruit those. See to your training. There's going to be a fight.
Hope, make your roll with a +2 bonus, because that was great on many levels. I like that you are calling him out for he should go get his training from the kid, and I liked how you spoke of the different places that people can come from to join the wall. And imagining the different ways Andarian thinks about all of these people, from Scullery to Anointed and onwards.
We're going to go with think this is, even though it's harsh, this is still convince.
Okay. So for anyone wondering, it's actually within the core system of Game of Thrones that the narrator can give out bonus dice during roleplay. And conversely, the players can also give the narrator bonus dice for roleplay and intrigues and things. It's a really cool feature of the system that I like a lot.
22. 2 sixes.
Very nice. What was your intrigue defense, Claris?
10.
10. So that is double, so you will get the 2 crits. Hope.
Okay, so that's double for damage, so that would be triple for damage, correct?
So on 2 sixes, you do a vulnerable hit, which permanently reduces your opponent's DR by 1.
Okay. So there's no DR against this. I believe the damage, since it's 1 success for meeting the defense, and then 1 success for every 5 thereafter.
Yep. Correct. So it should be 3.
That's 3.
Right?
That is 12 damage.
And I have a 9 in composure.
Okay. So this will defeat you unless you take frustration, which is essentially the social equivalent of a wound for the intrigue.
Yeah, I want to take frustration.
Or you can... Okay. So you take frustration.
Those were some wounding
Take frustration
words.
a number of times equal to your will. And then after that, you will be out. You can only get frustrated to such a point. And you will be at -1d on all persuasion tests, and that includes deception tests as well. It's both for the duration of the intrigue.
So frustrated.
So you will still take. Hang on, he did 12. It reduces by your will rank. So rather than being a wound where it absorbs all of it, it reduces by your will rank. Your will is 3, correct?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so 1 would take it down to 9. If you take 2 points of frustration, you'd still be in, and it would take it down to 6. So you would still be in. You'd be at 3 composure with 2 points of frustration, which would be -2d to every roll. I just went and double-checked the rules to make sure I was doing it right, so Sam doesn't yell at me later.
And are the sure, yeah, we'll do it. We'll
It only applies for the rest of this intrigue. After that, the frustration goes away. It's just this conversation that's getting to you. He's not focusing on what you want him to focus on, things like that. So you're just getting more and more annoyed. But you want to stay in the conversation because you have a point to get across.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So yeah, so I take the 2 frustration, and visibly flustered and scolded and taking on the demeanor of a boy half his age, maybe a quarter his age. So you of all people do not need to lecture me or the others in this castle about monsters. I have surely seen monsters, and the worst monster that I have seen was not outside to the north. The worst monster that I've seen here used to sit in that very chair.
Glover was a mistake. We understand that. It was a decision made due to outside pressure. It was a decision made to try and help the brothers. But it came at a cost. And that is the burden of leadership. And that is now the burden that we all bear. We cannot help the mistakes of our predecessors, but we can fix them. But in order to do so, it takes cooperation, focus, resolve. And tearing down another brother, even though he may be odious or ornery, is not the way to build anything. One has to wear one's will like armor. Otherwise, the cold and the things that come with it will tear you asunder. See to your drills. Unless there's something that you particularly have to say about either Glover, Burke, the wildlings, or the beasts that you think I have to know, I would see that you are dismissed.
And Recruit Laris, it is your turn to take an action. You can do a little more roleplay to lead into it if you'd like, but it is your turn in the initiative.
I will see to my duties. I will train. I will prepare. And as a builder, my training is to keep my eyes open, to look for cracks, to look for tension, to look for weaknesses in this keep. There is a crack forming, not in the walls, not in the stones of the castle, but in the men and in the brothers. You should know that Glover was slain by the men that you command.
One does not omit information important. If you're levying an accusation, I need names.
Of course, Commander, as a brother of the Night's Watch, I report to you that I saw Sir Jordan Burke slay Commander Glover.
How?
Laris, if you'd like to make your roll.
My
I feel like you could have had a pin drop amongst the cast as we were all waiting for you to say it.
So this seems insight still?
Okay, so it's up to you. It depends what you want the outcome to be. I think it is insight because you want Commander Dondarian to take action against Burke. And that's what insight does. You want them to go and take immediate action. You want them to do something about whatever it is you're telling them.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas persuasion convince is just he will be convinced of what you say, which is it doesn't have to be so immediate.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, let's go big. Let's go insight. I mean, with the however many dice I have left to roll after all of these penalties.
All right, so it's -1 from Pope's build.
Right.
You're -2 from frustration, and make a will test for me. I want to see if you beat Craven.
Okay.
Do that first, and ignore your frustration ranks because I should have made you roll this earlier, and I forgot about it. I think in this moment you've gussied up your courage, and I want to see if you can fight back.
That is a 13.
That's a success, and you did a 12. So we're not going to take your Craven into account. So you're at -3D on this test. I'm giving you 2 bonus dice for excellent roleplay as you eked that out, and I didn't know if you were going to give us a name.
Also, I'd like to remind you that there are options for spending and burning destiny points.
And there is that too.
Let's do. Can I? Okay.
So you're probably going to be looking to roll a burn. Because it adds 5 to your result. Or you can convert all bonus dice into test dice, and I've given you 2 bonus dice that you can turn into test dice.
Right.
For free, and plus any bonus dice you have in your insight already. It's up to you. You don't have to. It's your choice.
Yeah, let's burn the destiny point on the converting all the bonus dice into test dice.
Okay.
Grab the die that fell on the floor.
It's one of those days today. My phone was vibrating. Dice are going on the floor.
So my bonus dice give me 7, and I'm losing. I have to drop the 3, correct? 3.
Yes.
I'm frustrated, and he's pretty impressive. Okay. So
yes.
7d6 dropping 3.
3. Yep. I love the sound of a handful of d6s. It's the best sound.
So that is a 16.
Okay.
Very nice.
Defense is 12.
Nice. So that is just 1 degree of success, which is your will rank, which is 3.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a success.
So you get through, you chip away. It damages your will, which, if I remember correctly, is 3.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
My DR is 2. So that's another point.
Laris has a slingshot of social intrigue here that's plucking away at you.
How did he kill him?
In the field during the last raid of the wildling village, when Glover was distracted and taunting even the wildlings trying to defend their home. Jarden was able to come up behind him unseen, unsuspected, slit his throat.
Did anyone else see this?
I do not know, Commander.
that any of the wildlings that you saw that are still out there beyond the wall see this.
Many of the wildlings saw it. Surely all of the wildlings that survived that day would have witnessed it.
You're being reassigned. You're going to be my steward for now. You do not leave my side unless I dismiss you. And you are going to keep quiet about this until I have time to figure out how this is going to work. But in the meantime, you were to go report to the Maester, inform him of your reassignment, and inform him that you are to be given an education. I need you to be able to read, write, and, God's willing that Maester can remember Valerian, read and speak it. And should you take to your studies and somehow ingratiate yourself to the old coot, will in time become his replacement. Someone needs to be able to write the stories here. Someone with the will to actually speak the truth. Even though there are certain secrets one must keep from one's brothers, the truth has to remain in the records. If you do write, I suggest you start journaling. And I would like you to request, when you meet the Maester, whatever journals of the previous commanders lie in the library. You need to know what they knew. You are dismissed, recruiters. Congratulations on your promotion, brother.
Laris get up from the chair that he's been seated in, and there's a key ring that all the builders have to inspect the places that are locked away from the rest of the brothers. And he takes the key ring and absentmindedly puts it on the table in front of Dondarian, and then remembers that he just told me to go to the Maester, and he comes back and picks up the key ring again and scurries out the door.
Just the loudest of grunts as he can hear Laris scurrying away.
And Pope, I believe the commander was writing some letters. I'd like you to share one of them with us, if you will, before we cut back to Burke to resolve the secrets in the library.
We are going to go with the first letter that we have, not the second. Lord Commander, Castle Giant's chair appears to be in rough condition. I am afraid my predecessor's politics have left the keep vulnerable. I believe before the month is out, I shall be requesting more men and materials. The melt is swift here, and the level of neglect, even with future requests being certain, the keep may well need to be abandoned. I'm still trying to ascertain the local wildling population, their priorities, and location. No doubt they will be hostile, and desperate. The surviving brothers are a dour and tight-lipped lot. The usual scuttlebutt is not even whispered around here. The chief steward is an eccentric, to put things mildly. I hereby put in a formal request to petition Old Town for a new maester. In the time being, I shall see if I may convince our eccentric brother to begin training a successor. May the gods be kind, and better news find us both. Sincerely, Commander Rail Dondarian.
And as the quill is laid to rest, we turn to the quill of Burke being picked up, looking down at the scratchings of the notes you've made. Matt, if you could remind us of the question you had for me.
The question was, would I be able to transport the Starfall out of here?
Okay. And for the second half of your boon, I gave you an extra test dice for the first part. For the second part, I'm going to let you ask me a second question. And it can be asked after I finish answering your first. The Starfall is believed to be a large celestial object. By all accounts, it is something that fell from the sky. And it was large. Estimates have it at anywhere between 10 foot wide and 100 feet wide. There seems to be some disagreement between the two authors of the reports on the fact, between the astrologer and the maester who was present at that time. So the object itself, you don't believe you could carry alone, but all of the accounts do suggest that there is something valuable in that starfall, that it is a gift from the gods. That's free. That's written in all the accounts. Everyone believes there's something great about this starfall that will help. Something valuable. So your second question, the second part of your boon.
The second part of the boon.
It can relate to something else. You've been poring over a lot of history, a lot of writing.
Yeah. What can I use to protect myself from what's at the Starfall?
That's a good question. All right. From your reading, you would suspect that you would need an old weapon. There's writing about dragon glass, and you would also know Valyrian steel, famously very effective weapon against nearly everything it's come up against. Of course, if you could get a hold of a dragon, that works against everything as well. But a little difficult these days, perhaps.
A few decades late on that one, unfortunately. And the only Valyrian steel that I would be remotely close to is nowhere near here. So, it appears we are down to the other weaponry. It appears I wasn't completely incorrect in researching the half-hand.
And you know that the half-hand was part of a cache. That there are other items from that cache still at Giant's Chair, as well as scattered along the length of the wall. Although exactly where these items are depends on which clerk's accounting you believe.
Basically, what would be here? What would I know is here at Giant's Chair, aside from half hand, because that's kind of like that's desperation play. If I have to go for half hand, 'cause that's an obvious one.
Another obvious one that would go missing is in Dondarian's study. There is an axe that hangs on the wall, and in the main kind of common area, there are two swords on the wall that are allegedly from this cache. But you are not sure from the writings.
Okay, so that might be an assessment I have to do, because I've got a little time. I've got time right now. We just came back from arranging. Everything's fine.
And of course, there's the armory that you could just go and look through and see if there is any still in there.
I might set my men to take stock of the armory in between drills. That's actually a fantastic idea. Let's do that.
Okay, so that is your order. And you basically have spent hours in this room with dusty books, with books that are very poorly written, various account books, and essentially it's taking you all day. Are there any final letters you wish to send as the Maester comes back with yet another book to add to the hefty pile you've accumulated?
No, I sent the letter I needed to send. I thought I was going to be 2, but no, really only needed to be the 1.
Last book.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Thank you.
They say this was the journal of the Greyjoy.
Well, we'll see what account he has to give. Probably one of the closer sources we've got at this point.
And this book is kind of A5 size. It's like a small pocket style book. The leather is flaked where it hasn't been conditioned, and the paper inside is fragile at best. Of course, it could just be another brother. Some of them do like to write, you know. Very fanciful, some of them. The things I've read.
Sometimes when you have nothing but time on the wall, all you can do is give yourself to fancy.
Yes. Idle daydreams. What do you daydream of, Sir Jordan? Tell me.
A long summer.
And he looks you in the eyes.
Oh, yeah.
He really wants to know.
He's like, a warm summer. A better time. Friends, maybe a cask of wine. People long gone.
You see him wet his lip with his tongue at the mention of a cask of wine. Dornish, do you think? Golden Arbor?
My thoughts exactly, actually. You really did find the best wine in the Reach.
Yes. He puts a bony hand on your shoulder and squeezes just slightly. Your southern is showing.
Just be glad I'm not going on about fish. Keep you here all night.
One last question, if you will tolerate an old man, brother.
Done it thus far. Speak your mind.
What do I tell them when they ask me what you were doing all day? Because they will ask, of course. Daydreams only keep them so busy.
Nothing to hide. Reading. I'm an educated man. If one really wants to ask, maybe I was sharing a drink with a friend.
He looks to the skull in the jar. A deadly beverage.
Wouldn't have it any other way some days.
Okay. Is your intention for him to basically just tell people you were reading and to make it sound uninteresting? Do you think?
Absolutely.
Or do you genuinely not care what he says to anyone?
No, I want him. I want it to sound like it was uninteresting. Oh, he's just like the first ranger's crazy. He's delving dusty old tomes. He's gone mad with the cold.
So make me a persuasion roll to persuade him to do this for you.
Seems good. Seems really good. Persuade, convince. That's a 22.
Oof.
Jordan's a very persuasive man when he wants to be.
He licks his lips once more and he gives you a nod, and there's a very cunning look about him. He clearly understands what you've asked and is going to do so. Perhaps brother will come by more often and share some stories once in a while.
If that's the request, who am I to say no?
Because, of course, we all need to share the wealth here at the wall. Don't we, brother? And he's heavily hinting, I want a cut of whatever the fuck it is you're looking for.
What little we can get. You'll get what you deserve.
He narrows his eyes at you. Boys and their words.
Words are wind, but I prefer action when I can help it.
So the mice have told me. And he pats you. Enjoy the book. I have business and jobs. Eyes and ears and patience.
He's a little dumbfounded by that at the end. And he isn't quite sure what to say as the Maester totters off.
And as the Maester totters off, so the wind howls through Giant's chair into the little cracks that are exposed as the ice is beginning to melt, and into the little cracks left behind by negligent stewards. And we follow the wind out to the frozen shore, and we see the wildlings. You've had to hunker down as the storm has come in fast from the sea, and the ship has come in to anchor in the small bay. There has been no exit party from the ship, however. The storm is rough, and the waves are cascading up and down and smashing into the shoreline. Runa, Urel, what are you doing?
Oh, are we in a place where we can see that ship quite clearly? Or
yes. The waves sometimes kind of grow high and the squall grows bad and you can't see it, but you know it's there. You saw it come in, and it's come in as far as it can without risking beaching itself and dropped anchor.
Did it have the symbols on the sails that I saw in my kind of vision?
Make an awareness notice checks for me to see if you can spot any heraldry out.
I might have to just grab some dice because I put them all away.
Okay.
Okay. Oh,
as you do
have
that,
to get up, right?
Runa,
I'm just gonna do this for a second. For a second.
Okay. Runa, you've been attending, I imagine, to Grayson, and you're confident that he is stabilized for now, although you know moving him too much is going to be dangerous, and really it's time that will tell. But inside of you, you know he's going to live. You know you've made a deal.
Okay.
What are you up to?
I most likely sort of cleaning up as best I can, and really I'm just probably watching those sails, watching the sky.
Jackson, Ingrid, and the others have dragged one of the walrus carcasses in, the last one that had been killed, and they've been butchering it as best they can, although the wind hasn't helped. But everyone is hungry and everyone is cold, and they've coaxed a small fire using some of the fat to help it burn. And everyone is crowded around this fire, protecting it from the wind and the rain and the sea.
Was it awareness notice check, yeah?
Awareness notice, yes, please.
It's a 10 I rolled.
Okay. On a 10, you squint out, and in your mind, you remember that sail that had that strange octopus creature, the creature with many legs sprayed out. Something that you've heard of, something like a kraken, you think. But as you squint out now, you can see things that look as if it were tendrils, tentacles, legs, but there's just 3 of them, and they all arch in a curve. You squint closer and closer, and it is not a kraken that you see, but a dragon with 3 heads on the flag of the ship in the bay. Matt is just losing his shit down in the corner.
It's great.
I just want to say, chat, I called it. I made a call, and I'm right.
we would have heard of dragons through like our own myths stories, right? So I would sort of know about this.
Definitely. There were a lot of dragons, and if there is a dragon anywhere in Westeros right now, it's north of the wall.
Sure, right. I think although I'm not able to see too much, I'm spending most of my time just kind of staring towards that ship, confused as to why it's not the one from my dream and why and what that ship is all about, or just if my vision was wrong. Maybe I misinterpreted. I haven't had many of these sort of dreams, so I'm confused still by them. But there's a part of me that is just staring at the ship, kind of willing it to just sink. I just want it gone from this shore. We don't need more Southerners coming here, like trying to take over our land or kill us or whatever. I just want it gone. I just want them to leave us alone. And so there's part of me that's just willing that storm to sink them. Yeah, not doing much else apart from that.
When you say you are willing it, is this something you're thinking really deeply in your head? Are you imagining? Are you envisioning what it looks like when a ship breaks? How deep is this willing going?
I mean, I am watching the waves crash against it, and yeah, kind of visualizing the waves getting bigger and just engulfing it completely, so that it just disappears from view, kind of thing. I'm not sure if about breaking up the ship necessarily, just kind of like washing it away or smashing it against the shore. I don't know if it's up against rocks or it's in a cove, right? So there's probably not really things that it can really smash against necessarily, because it's clearly taken as calm a cove as it can. But just that idea of
the ocean swallowing it,
or the ocean swallowing it, or it deciding that this is too bad, that the storm puts them off and they turn around and go home. Like either of those works. Really figure out. She doesn't necessarily want to just drown all these men, but this is not their home.
Wants the ship to not be there.
Yeah.
Okay, make a willpower check for me, a will test.
Okay.
And you can add any dedication specialty dice you have.
I don't think where would I find education ones? I don't have
dedication.
Anything under will.
Okay. Yeah, dedication comes under will, so it'd just be your will rank.
No, I just have will. So, Jesus. Okay, interesting. 2 6s and 2 1s, which makes 13. Right? That's right. Yeah.
14.
Oh no, I'm not dropping any. It's 14. Yeah, right.
14.
My natural
You
tendency to
stare
drop the lesson.
at this ship, and you imagine it just being gone. Just the ocean swallowing it, it's sailing away. You wonder if the rocks could move closer, but there's no way you can move a mountain, no way you can move a rock. Just make the ship gone. And the waves rise, and the weather gets worse. And you see a great cresting of teal grey swash across that ship, and you hear a crack as the mast is broken by the smashing of a wave across its ship. And you wonder for a second, did I do that? Did I just break that ship? And the sea and the wind howl as those white sails disappear into that form. Thank you for all those subs. This makes for very fun events.
Cool. I think I was just sort of thinking as you were describing this, that actually like an extra element that she might even have is this vision of this kind of kraken creature that she's heard myths about. that even if that itself, maybe that was why she had this vision, like the Kraken and a ship, but they'd merged together, and that maybe actually almost calling the Kraken to drag it down to the bottom of the water as well. Like that might even be in her head.
And that is what you wonder. And that is what you will to take shape. And all you see is the sea swelling and the waves getting higher and higher. And you can feel the spray of them as they crash into the shore and threaten to wash away your camp here. Everyone tightens down the furs. Everyone deepens their huddle against this fire in this small, tiny alcove you've managed to find for yourselves, away from the walruses and away from the sea. And as they do, the leather is pulled down, blocking your view of the ocean and of the horizon. And night is coming, and everything is growing dark. And you hear the creaking of wood, the smashing of sea on rock, the smell of dead things. Runa. Grayson has a fever. It's to be expected. You have to keep him warm. But you also can't let him get too hot. You need to treat whatever it is and break the fever. But you are stuck in this tiny camp with the last surviving members of your clan, a dead walrus, the only lump in here that isn't a breathing member of your clan. What do you do?
I melt some snow near the fire and tear off a strip of cloak and sponge his forehead down to try to keep him cool. I always try to keep a hand on his skin so I can feel and monitor his temperature. And I use whatever herbs I have on me to try to get him to swallow some or make poultices to try and combat any infection. Whatever herbs or alcohol that we have handy.
Okay. You realize that your supplies are diminished. You've had a lot of work to do, especially with the baby that has come, and you know that your priority is going to need to be to get more as soon as the storm breaks. But you do what you can, and you apply the last of your stash. And the baby is crying as the wind is howling, and Riva does what she can to soothe it. And you're all just there waiting. Do any of you try to sleep tonight? Runa, Urel.
I think I'm reluctant to. And I just kind of probably sit by the fire, knees up, like this sort of thing, you know, and probably nod off at some point, even if it's just for short amounts of time. Just from the events of the day, of the last few days of just trying to get back to the clan, and everything like that. So I probably do nod off, but I try and just stay there, aware of everything, listening, not being able to look out, and just listening for anything of any of imagining what's happening outside, if that boat is smashing to pieces, if people are surviving and washing onto the shore, and if they're going to discover us. we have a fire with smoke coming out. You know, we might be casting light. So, yeah. So I'm just very, very aware of all that. But I'm sure at some point I pass out for even an hour or so, on and off. Personally.
Okay. I'd like you both to make an endurance stamina check.
Only a 9 for me.
11.
Oh,
Right.
a 10 for me. Sorry, it's
A
10
10?
for me. I keep dropping things that I don't need to drop, but it was only
Okay.
a 1.
Uriel, you nearly fall asleep at one point. But then the lightning begins and the thunder rumbles and you cannot sleep. And you know it is better that you do not sleep in case the wind brings the sea to you and sweeps away the camp. There's nothing you can do if you're asleep. And Runa, you fight to stay awake so that you can watch over Grayson, watch over your people. And as morning does eventually arrive and the storm begins to quiet down to a simple drizzle, a sleet of rain and snow, and the wind continues to push through but less violently, the bedraggled and drenched clan from between the river and sky turn to the pair of you. So what do we do now then?
I look to Runa because she seems to have the respect of everyone, and I don't feel like a leader really. I don't feel like I have the composure to lead in the way that she does.
I need to go foraging. Some of us will need to keep watch. Grayson isn't ready to be moved yet.
Some of us need to eat a walrus heart. Riva's there and she's been staring at this beast all night, knowing that is her destiny, and now that it's in front of her, isn't ready.
That's true. I can't remember if we
And I
decided
suppose it's
that she
best
eats it
organic.
raw. Does she eat it raw? Probably should
It
have
was
done that quick.
tradition to eat it raw when it was the chief. You tell me what the tradition is now.
I mean, I feel like it's like pretty much as soon as you kill it, you probably should eat it. The fact that we've waited all night with a storm, even though it's still pretty cold, I expect we left it outside, but she needs to eat that pretty soon, or we need to kill a new one. You don't want to kill a new mother.
You know, I was pretty mad when he died. Now I'm really mad that he died. And she laughs, and a couple of the others laugh as well. It's kind of a bitter, sad laugh, but they're trying to find something funny, something that's not shit about this situation.
Just
I'm gonna,
fillet it real thin.
I want to lift the flap of the door and try and look out and see what I see.
You lift
Clear out
the flap of the tent, and you see 3 rowboats pulling to the shore, and soldiers climbing out. And that is where we will end today's episode, as you peek out and you see all the bad things out the door. Thank you all so much for today. It was a really interesting session. We did a lot of things. We had a lot of weird glitches that happened, but that's okay. It's very nice to be back and playing here on Encounter Roleplay. Please stay in your seats because we have the wonderful Dr. RPG coming up next. And any donations made during that show will be going to Black Girls Code, which is an amazing organization that we love supporting here on the channel. So if you do have any spare cash, please consider donating to them. We'll have a nice little donation goal at the top. But let's go around. Thank you to everyone who has subbed today, who has donated to keeping these wonderful people alive. Let's go around. We have 2 episodes left. What is your goal, and where can we find you on the internet? And we're going to go same way as usual. So, Kate, you are up first.
Oh, blimey. What is my goal for next session?
Yeah, or your goal for the next 2 sessions.
Oh, for the whole thing. Oh gosh.
Which do you want to give away? It's up to you. Open question.
I mean, I think Urel wants to feel like the clan is safe and secure to a certain degree, and so I think that's her goal. Whether that is an alliance with the crows and everything, or just leaving the area completely to like just moving more north. I don't think she's completely made her mind up about that. And there's obviously a part of her that just wants to walk away, but at the same time, this is their land, their home. So maybe there's a way. The history books have shown that there is a way to have an alliance, and maybe they need to get back to that. Yeah, I think that's the main thing for her, but I'm not sure if it's gonna happen. Otherwise, I'm Kate Madison, otherwise known as Actors at Work on various social media things. I'm here on Twitch under Kate Madison, and I've been playing Urel for you. I just was watching most of that, and it was just brilliant. Like, I could not poke a face through most of that. It's just like in the chat going, oh my god, oh my god. It was great. I loved it. I've never played. This is the first time playing the Song of Ice and Fire RPG as well, and so that the interest of the combat in the verbal combat stuff, the intrigue, it's just like that's so new to me, and it was really enjoyable just watching how that played out and how that works, and that was great. Yeah, it was great. Otherwise, you can find me apart from. I can't believe we only got 2 of these left. I'm so sad. I stream Monday to Friday, UK time, 2 p.m. early mornings if you're in the US. Come join me for some randomness, creative or playing games or just chatting. So it's all fun. Yeah. Thank you so much for letting me play today. It was great.
Thank you so much for playing. I have to say, social intrigue is my favorite part of the system as well. But it's something that I don't like to run new players into as a deep end exercise, because I think playing the combat in this teaches you how to do the social intrigue. So I generally will start you with combat and then we go to social intrigue, because that's when the role play gets wild and the mechanics need to kind of sit there and support. Dev, your first time doing social intrigue, right?
Mm-hmm.
So same questions for you, friend.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Thank you to this marvelous cast for today. Thank you to whoever gave me this ominous little red circle up in the corner here. I look forward to learning what that will do for me. And let's see. So Laris's goal, I think, is his first thought immediately is to figure out a way to finish his training. He seems to keep getting put back at the starting line, now heading over to the stewards. And so I think the sort of zoomed out answer to that question is, or maybe the zoomed in, since we only have 2 sessions, is for him to figure out his place here and how he can sort of best serve his brothers. I'm Devin Preston, Dev Presto on Twitter. I'd like to, I don't have anything to plug, but I would like to affirm that Black Lives Matter. And if you go to my Twitter page, Dev Presto on Twitter, I've pinned a retweet of a great resource. Somebody put together, I believe the account is RPG Casts, put a Medium article that's just a list of many of the wonderful Black members of the community and Black voices in tabletop role-playing, artists, designers, streamers. So I encourage you to check that out, follow some of those folks, and offer them your support. And thanks so much again for being here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for playing with us and for that message. Pope.
Hey everybody, Pope World Build here. Pope World Build on Twitter, Pope World Build on Twitch. I lurk in all your streams. Oh, good heavens, one episode. The fact there's only 2 left. So much tension. Screams. Goal. Something terrible is going to happen. That's just how this works. That's how it works in the wall. Dendarian's goal is to try and protect the folks to the south. They have to be the bulwark against whatever's coming. And these men, however rough shot and weary they are, have to hold. That's his goal. I don't know how this is going to work. That was one hell of a time. Thank you so much, Deb, for that incredible role play and incredible story. Again, you gave me so many opportunities and you gave us so much that having somebody as generous to bounce off of is an absolute delight. Thank you. And I want to also thank all of you who are tuning in live, VOD, YouTube, wherever you are. You're as much part of the story as we are. Couldn't do it without you. Thank you all so much. For those of you who are still alive, please stick around. In this of uncertain times, any and all help is appreciated. And you can all help in so many different ways. Look around, support, lift up voices, lift up each other, hold on to your spoons and use them wisely. With that, see you all real soon. Take care, everybody.
Thank you so much, Pope. And if you are watching on YouTube, thank you so much for being here. And if you've made it this far, leave us a comment about what you think of the episode. And also, here be dragons. That way we know you've made it this far and we can send you all of the love. Speaking of here be dragons, Burke, what you playing at?
Oh, little this, little that, little bit of red, little bit of black. Yeah. Hi, everybody. Matt, Killer GM here. I write about stuff on Twitter. You can find me at the Killer GM. I talk about various different things, but right now my main message, other than games are good and telling stories is great, lift up Black creators and defund the police. But on other notes, yeah, there's a lot of things going on with only 2 episodes left. Gonna have to make some big plays, and boy howdy, I don't know who handed me that delightful boon, but that is gonna see some use. I am very, very certain if that is what I hope it is. But nice things don't happen in Game of Thrones, so I am fully expecting it to be completely the opposite of what I'm hoping for. So yeah, I am super excited. Everybody was fantastic. The walrus hunt was just holy crap, who thought a walrus could be so terrifying, right? And the intrigue between Arian and Laris. Wow. That was amazing. And as was put earlier, Pope, Dev, you both knocked it out of the park. Fantastic, guys. Okay, I'm done.
Did you feel that Westerosi bus coming for you as Dev revved the engine?
I believe you mentioned something about a guillotine, and as I said, I could hear every little. Yep. Okay. I'm sorry, Dev. It ain't gonna be anything personal when it comes.
All right. And someone who has weathered the storms of Westeros, Runa, played by the lovely Alyssa.
Hey everybody. Oof. What a wild episode. It was fun to have that devil's bargain put in front of me, even though I already knew which way Runa would decide. And Her goal is just to keep everybody alive for the next 2 sessions, so hopefully the gods and dice will continue to smile on me. But yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Origami Shuriken and on Sunday evenings at about 7 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/otherdoc, where I GM our Dark Matter campaign, which Ghost of Saltmaw, which is Ghost of Salt Marsh in space. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
Please do go and check that out. And fingers crossed people make it to episode 5. We'll see. Summer is here, friends. And you know what else is here? Dr. RPG. So I'm gonna, without any further ado, throw it over to the tunnel and hand you over to the wonderful Noir Enigma, his cast and his crew for a great chat show. Listen out for any familiar voices on those call-ins, and please do consider being generous if you can donate or retweet the stream tonight. Thank you all so much for being here. Shout out to Super Wasp King for those donations, to Pope as well, and all of those subs, particularly Colonomicon, who donated a bajillion gift subs earlier, and Nin as well. Take care, everybody, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.